Okay, so the last video I posted did crazy numbers I didn't expect. So, from the bottom of my heart, I actually want to thank everyone out there for supporting the channel. And unfortunately, today it's kind of a letdown because I'm not going to show any more leaked clips. But I have a different tact to this video is that in the last 48 hours, if you look at what happened, Take Two actually got into the game. They came off the bench and they stopped playing defense. They went to federal court. And what they're asking for is a lot bigger and a lot messier. It's going to be messy than just, find the leaker or, where's Waldo or whatever. I'm going to walk you through what a subpoena actually does and who else that it's already caught in a net that has nothing to do with the leak and why, even though this involves lawyer at this point, my answer from the last video hasn't changed. None of this will move the release date for GTA 6. So, a quick reminder if you're new here, welcome to you. I appreciate your support. And check out the card up top if you want to check out who I am, or you can check my credentials in the channel description. I've got them posted there. Going back to that word that everybody dreads to hear, subpoena. Nobody wants to deal with lawyers. I try to avoid them in my entire life. So you heard probably through the news that Rockstar is, like I said, gotten off the bench. They're in the game. They've issued a subpoena. And the word subpoena gets thrown around like it means lawsuit. It doesn't actually mean that there's a lawsuit. So let's go back and tell you what I know is that on August 20th, Take Two filed subpoenas in the US District Court of Southern District of New York. New York is obviously where Take Two is located. And it's directed at Microsoft and Discord. This is actually a specific legal tool under the DMCA, and it lets the copyright holder demand identifying user data from a platform without actually filing a lawsuit first. You just need this sworn declaration or whatever it is, and that's legal mumbo jumbo to identify who is the person that is the leaker. And you just state that as your purpose. That's it. That's the whole bar it has to clear to actually get these companies to comply. And they have till September 4th to comply and bring forth what the subpoena is actually asking. Again, this is what in the production world we're saying this is Take Two's legal department actually moving from they clean up this mess to actually we're going to build a case and go after the leaker and get the data so that we can go ahead and move forward and try to prosecute this person. The DMCA takedowns actually protect the content. A subpoena is actually identifying and potentially coming forward with a lawsuit to persecute the person. And that's definitely meaningful because that means that Rockstar's legal department has dropped the kid gloves and started moving this into high gear. It's finally about time because it seemed like they were a little bit on their back heels after all the leaks. But the Microsoft request is interesting because it isn't just Microsoft. I've seen Microsoft to say who is CyberLeak. It asks for all of Microsoft's internal investigations tied to that persona, and they're asking for account level data, anything connected with like OneDrive or Xbox accounts. They're asking for all that data to try to find the CyberLeak individual. And the Discord request actually goes out like pretty much a net goes wider because it's asking for any information by every community member who can communicate in specific Discord servers going all the way back to June 1st. Plus, they're asking for stuff that is really crazy. Is like they're asking for device informations, whose system had a certain tool on it, or digital file artifacts may have been downloaded, and see how in depth they're going. That isn't just unmask, and pull forward one guy who's doing it. It's basically they want to get the membership list of entire communities and they want to go through it to see if it correlates with whatever they're looking for to find the leaker in that community. And that's exactly what has happened because one of the Discord servers named in the filing actually belongs to individual named DarkViperAU, who is Matthew Judge, who's a well-known GTA content creator. I know I've seen his videos, and he's described in the filing as being an editor's server. He posted publicly denying any knowledge of the leak, and as far as anyone knows or reports, he's not a suspect. His server just happened to be one of the ones that were named, and that's the bad part when you're casting a net really wide. You could just envelope a ton of people that have nothing to do with the claim, like it could just be game GTA server that's discussing the timelines, or there's an editing team out there editing videos. Could be a random fan community. Any of those people could get swept up in something like this. And now, basically, every members of those servers is potentially in scope of this subpoena, whether they know anything or not. And Discord's response to all this was essentially, we will review and comply with valid subpoenas. This is like an ordinary thing for us, and we'll just go ahead and do it. And Xbox Division said they're working with Take Two to help protect their IP. Rockstar itself still hasn't confirmed that the leaked footage is even real. Think about that for a minute. They're pursuing federal subpoenas over material they haven't officially acknowledged exists. So where does it actually leave things with where we are current day? Well, the leaks actually haven't stopped. There was time, it was about a day that the leaker didn't post anything, and people assumed, well, they got the guy. And then all of a sudden, a new clip dropped showing a carjacking sequence. And after that, there was another release, which is number 7, if you're counting at home, showing a strip club scene and a gas station robbery with the police response escalating into multi star level. And at the time of this recording, Take Two reportedly still doesn't know who's behind it or exactly how they got in. I don't know if these subpoenas are actually going to go anywhere. A subpoena, it actually requires the companies to provide data. It doesn't guarantee that the data points were going to lead to a leaker's real identity. And especially if the leaker took precautions, which I guess if you're a good cyber criminal, you would want to take those types of precautions so that you're not identified. And it's not going to lead possibly to a fast resolution. Here's what haven't moved at all. So it's the certification, the going gold and creating that gold master. The calendar hasn't moved. Everything that I talked about in the last video doesn't affect Microsoft or Sony's cert process, and it pretty much is status quo before a single subpoena was issued. The legal action addresses who did this and what happens to them, and it has zero bearing on when the game is actually going to ship. Those are two completely separate tracks. So don't let the legal drama blur into when the game is going to ship. And in 4 days, we're going to get Rockstar's actual official extended look on Netflix. And that's going to be the version of the story that's actually worth talking about. I look forward to seeing what all the hard work is and what actually we're going to see. Now, if you're new here from the last video, again, welcome. And if you want to actually subscribe, this is the actual sober version of this whole GTA 6 leak. And that's how I do my videos, is that I just take the grounded version instead of the hype version. I want to know in the comments, did this subpoena with the wide net being cast actually take it too far? Or do you think it's just enough to catch the leaker? So let me know in the comments. And I know that there's people out there saying, I want to see another leak clip, and why aren't you showing it to me? I don't really care how a DMCA subpoena works, but that's the actual legal story right now. The leak was never actually my focus for this channel, and it probably shouldn't be yours, because the way that Rockstar is approaching this and dealing with the law and trying to catch this leaker, it's actually, we're looking at it from the last leak. We get to see it close up and in action. But that's how I treat this channel, is that everybody out there is just creating noise. I try to bring it back down to saying, okay, here's where the actual steps are being created. And if that's something you dig, then stick around, subscribe, and hit that bell. And if you missed the other video, go watch it. I break down what a playable build actually means, how leaks like this possibly happen, and why none of this will actually move the release date, as I said earlier. This video actually builds directly on that last one. So I'm going to see you in 4 days for the extended look. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you this Thursday.